Good afternoon, Adelaide. It's great to be back once again. The sun is shining, which is typical to Adelaide. We're doing Talking Tour once again every night after the stages. Good to see some familiar faces down hiding in the shade. Who enjoyed the stage today and was surprised by the winner? I was. And I was surprised by the winner. I spoke to her 2 days ago and I still didn't think she would win. Let's see if she thought that she would win. The winner of today's stage, all the way from the Netherlands, riding for the Sarah Tizet team. Please put your hands together for Daniek Hengeveld. Okay, I did feel a little bit guilty when I spoke to you the other day and I thought, she might get in a breakaway, but I don't think she's going to win. What did you think?
I think I was thinking the same. We wanted to race aggressive, but I didn't expect to win the first stage.
Okay, so when you attacked with 45 kilometres to go, did you think at that point, I've gone, I'm going to win the stage?
Well, you hope. You hope you will make it to the finish line. I actually hoped that someone else would come with me because 45k is a long way to the finish. And then I saw that I had a gap for like 1 minute 30 and I was like, maybe, let's just push it a bit more and we'll see where we end.
I did think that you might have wanted some company because there was one of the riders from UAE that was at 10 seconds behind you for about 5 kilometres. Did you contemplate waiting?
Well, my sport director was in the car and the other team came to him. It's like, she needs to wait. And then my sport director was like, no, she's not waiting. She can come to her. So that's funny.
We need more microphones in the team car so we can hear those conversations, the negotiations out on the road. At what point did you think you were going to win?
At the finish line?
That's a good answer. I thought at 20 kilometres to go when you had 3 minutes, you had it wrapped up. What was your emotion like when you went across the finish line?
I was very emotional. I didn't want to cry. I was like, I don't want to cry on live television, but it was a really emotional win for me. It's my first WorldTour win ever, and after last year, it's actually like quite a big thing for me.
It is a huge thing for you. We're going to talk about the challenges that she's had the last couple of years, but first, I want to talk about the challenges of the different time zone between Australia and the Netherlands. You rang your parents after the stage. What time was it at home?
I think it was like 5 in the morning, so they watched the race at like 3 in the morning.
Oh, that's good. They were up watching.
Yeah. They're my biggest fans, so they need to.
Were they crying?
Yeah, my dad started crying, and then I cried as well. Like, I don't see that man actually emotional very often, so yeah, it did something to me.
It is huge. To get your first World Tour win is enormous. Everybody who is out there that has hit a snag, hit a hurdle along the way, they look for inspiration, for perseverance and resilience. And we've got a great example of it here. I want you to take us back to last year, Tour of Britain, some of the injuries that you've sustained and some of the challenges that you've had to overcome.
I did have a really hard year last year. I crashed in June in Tour of Britain, broke my jaw, broke my collarbone, broke 4 ribs. Was in the hospital for quite some weeks, and then I also found out that my old team didn't want to resign me. And I was like, I'm probably not racing anymore. Struggled with that mentally and physically. I was also not in good shape at all to just show other teams like, hey, I'm actually good enough to be World Tour. But I think I did it now.
Have you had any messages from your old team?
No, I'm still thankful for the last 2 years because I actually learned a lot from them. But I'm just happy with my new team. Let's say it like that. I moved on, and I'm really happy with my new team. I can almost call it my new family because you will be on the road together all the time. You will spend hours and hours together in cars and hotels. And they showed me actually what cycling is again.
The team Sarah Tizet, I'm assuming that plenty of you watched the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift last year, and we saw the brilliance. That's a half round of applause. You can go full round of applause Of course you watched the Tour de France. The stage that was won by your now teammate, Cédrine Kaboul, I was thinking of her when you were off the front today. Was her method of riding any inspiration to your performance today?
Yes and no. Because I already did attacking. Like, if I look back at my Conti years when I was 18 and I just attacked all the time. That's actually how I earned my World Tour contract 3 years ago. And I just felt like I was 18 again. I could just race, and it's also just the way of working from this team, and they give me the freedom to do it, and it worked out on the best.
I can't imagine that you know your teammates very well because you've only just met many of them, been on the new team. I imagine that the mood now in the hotel for the Sarah Tizet team is bursting with excitement.
Yeah, it is. And I think we already were actually a good team. We had a trains camp in December. We met everybody, and we're here already for a few days. So the spirit was already good. Like, because of them, I actually felt confident enough to attack again and just be myself again.
At the start of the day before the stage got underway, in the team meeting, what was spoken about as the strategy?
Well, we had multiple strategies. We actually also thought like, oh, it will be a sprint. Like, that was our main goal. But we kept the mindset like, okay, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to jump on attacks. Or if you feel good enough, just attack yourself. And I actually took that opportunity. And it was far to the finish. So I didn't thought I would make it. I was just trying to make the race a little bit hecticer.
And we heard in your interview immediately after the stage that you spoke about the fact that on the climb you felt bad, so you decided to attack. Put your hand up if you feel bad and you decide to go harder. I'm not putting my hand up. Molly, you nearly put your hand up, Molly. What was the belief of, okay, I feel bad, everybody else must feel bad?
It was a little bit like that, but I also just wanted to be in front of the new attacks. I was a bit scared, like, oh, if they attack now, I don't know if I can keep up with them. So I just went myself.
It was a brilliant victory. Now, going back to your time here in Australia, you've been here for a little while. Tell us about your connection to Adelaide and what you've done whilst you've been over here.
My connection to Adelaide is Maeve Plouffe, actually. Maybe a little bit of a local hero here. Is she? I hear.
Have we got a round of applause for Maeve Plouffe?
Yeah.
A local rider from... I thought she was one of the contenders for the stage today.
Me too. Like, I trained with her. She's in good shape. And last 2 years we became best friends. I took care of her in the Netherlands when she was with DSM as well. And yeah, I'm celebrating the holidays here with her and her family, and it's been great. And I've been to Sydney for the fireworks. Very touristy.
Even as a Melburnian, Sydney does win for the fireworks. Do the Adelaide people concede that Sydney does the fireworks on New Year's better? Just. Okay, you've got a 43-second lead over Ali Wollaston. The climbers are all at about 46 seconds behind. 2 laps up Wollonga Hill tomorrow. Question number 1, have you ridden Wollonga Hill? Number 2, can you stay in the lead this time tomorrow?
I did do Wollonga Hill, and I did some efforts, and it's going to be really hard. I will try. I will try to keep the jersey, but I'm also happy to give it to one of my teammates.
Which teammate?
We got multiple people to play with, so you will see.
I look forward to seeing it. You were brilliant today. Fortune favoured the brave. A solo victory, your first in the World Tour. Everybody in Adelaide, put your hands together for Daniek Hengeveld, the race leader of the Santos Tour Down Under.
Thank you.
That was a sensational victory. And I love somebody taking such a big risk and being able to get their first World Tour victory. And this is a race that's got great history of riders getting their first win. The last time we were in Aldinga, it was a rider who got her first victory at a World Tour level as well. Daria Pikalik, a sprinter from the Human Powered Health team. She managed to get the victory, so we've kept that continuity. This is a significant addition of the Santos Tour Down Under, given the first race was back in 99. Because of the interruptions with the COVID years, the men's race is celebrating its 25th edition. But we're also celebrating a significant milestone in the women's race. It's been now up as a World Tour event for the past 3 years. We've got the strongest field we've ever had assembled. So I want to pick the brains of a few people that were there right at the very start, and they're still in the thick of the action. First up, I want to bring out on the stage somebody who is now race director. She's been a stage winner in this race. She's been a multiple world champion on the track, and she's been an Olympic medalist as well. Please put your hands together for Annette Edmondson. And joining Nettie on stage is somebody that is the captain on the road for her team. When Neve Bradbury first came to this event 9 years ago, she wanted a picture with this rider because this rider was her hero. This rider is now her team captain. She's been top 10 at the World Championships, top 10 at the Commonwealth Games. She's been a winner of the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. She's one of the very best in Australian cycling. A big warm welcome, South Australia, for Tiff Cromwell. Tiff, this is a race that has been part of your life for a long, long time. Tell us your first memories of the Tour Down Under.
Yeah, firstly, thank you everyone for coming out this afternoon and great to see a big turnout. The Santos Tour Down Under is a special race for me. So I came through the Sassy Talent ID program here in South Australia, and when I just signed up, the first race they took us to go stand on the side of the road was the Tour Down Under back in 2003, I want to say. 2002, 2003.
And it's a long way from that position to now being one of the athletes that's not waiting out the front of the Hilton to see the pros, but one of the athletes coming out. Can you remember the first time that you were part of the Tour Down Under and staying at the Hilton and being one of the athletes going out of the hotel with people wanting your autograph?
Yeah, it's been so special to watch this race grow. Like when I was a young rider and an up-and-coming rider, we didn't have a women's Tour Down Under, so it's super exciting to actually have our own stage here. Like we did have a lot of support races, criteriums, some smaller stage races, but, to see it awarded World Tour. And it was only a few years ago that we actually came out as Canyon SRAM Racing as a World Tour team to this race, staying at the Hilton. And, now we can have little girls actually have role models to look up to through this race and having a women's Tour Down Under.
Is it pretty cool for you having Neve Bradbury now on your team and that when she was 13, she came here to get a photo with you?
Yeah, it's been fun. We joke about that. But it is, that's... Like, I was in her position when I was her age, looking up to my idols. And she was one who came through a mutual friend. And we're like, oh, you got to meet these girls. She's a twin, actually, and her sister was riding when they were younger. Like, oh, I got to meet them. They're going to be the next big thing. And that always stayed with me. And I followed their career and her career. And then when she was a finalist in the Zwift Academy, I was for sure rooting for her. And, I knew her potential. And now having her as a teammate, she's a huge talent, but also just such an easy teammate, and we get on really well. And yeah, she's kind of fun to be able to help guide and help her elevate, keep pushing to get those top results.
She's got some big results to come. She's already had some. Nettie, can you remember the first time you rode in the race?
I guess the first time I rode in a Santos Tour Down Under style event, it was a couple of criteriums. So back in 2013, and we were out in Victoria Park, and a lot of female riders flew in for the event, and Rochelle Gilmore was racing, Chloe Hosking, and it was a bit of a sprint fest. But then that slowly morphed into the first road race stage race over a couple of years. And then, 2016 was the first time it was officially a UCI world-known event. And then, to be sitting here now in 2025 with a World Tour race at our fingertips, it's just absolutely incredible.
How important has the race been for women's cycling to start the season on the other side of the world as a World Tour event?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. We are the biggest race, the biggest tour race for females in the Southern Hemisphere. And we won the event of the year as well last year in Australia. So it's a massive opportunity for us. It's a massive opportunity for our female athletes to get out there, get exposure, be on the TV, get in breakaways and get that jersey represented. So yeah, the opportunity to be here in the middle of Adelaide alongside an established men's event, which obviously started in 1999, it's, incredible.
What's more stressful, riding the race or course design and directing the race?
Oh, depends what we're talking about. I definitely think, so 3 years ago was my first event on the other side. That was incredibly stressful. I think that's because we were learning all the ropes and the systems and it was a lot going on. It was pretty overwhelming. So when I say we, I mean Carly Taylor and we both came on as assistant race directors to Stewie O'Grady, the race director. And that was pretty wild. Year 3, I'm feeling a lot more calm. I feel like you can't be too calm, otherwise I think, you've got to always be on your toes just in case because you're in events. There's always going to be something that's happening. But I do have faith in the amazing team behind us. We have so many people involved. There's about 30 full-time jobs at the moment, but then it's probably 50, 100. There's of part-time that just come in and put so much effort into getting this underway. So you do have a lot of confidence. However, when we were in the race today, going down the descents, and you're just looking at the athletes like railing the corners, you're sitting there going, I hope we did a good job. I hope we did a good job. Have we let them know that it's unsafe and you've got to be careful? And it's quite, that's the stressful times.
Okay, Tiff, you can be the judge of that. Did she do a good job?
I think she did a great job. And we're also professional cyclists where Nettie also knows we can go fast down descents and handle ourselves even if they're a little bit tricky.
You mentioned that it won the event of the year, the best event in Australia. It's some stiff competition. Australia's good at hosting big events. And I believe part of that is all the additional stuff to do with the village, the mass participation ride that's on again this year, and events like the Rattle Gravel, which Tiff put on last year. What was the catalyst for you to add a gravel event onto this race whilst you're also trying to race?
Well, it was a combined effort. So we have a business partner, Amy Charity, who started SPT Gravel in Colorado. It's probably one of the biggest gravel events in the world. And then through my partner, Valtteri Bottas, it just came in an interview that he was like, I'd love to bring an event to my hometown in Finland. And so we got talking, and then we created Finland Gravel. And then it was Carly Taylor actually reached out to me saying Tour Down Under was interested to bring a gravel element. For me, it was always a dream to associate a gravel event to Tour Down Under. You know, for me, it's one of the best events globally on the cycling calendar for fans to come along, see the professionals race, but also have so many other options to do other events, or, you know, like whether it's criteriums, whether it's ride outs, whether it's hanging out here in the village. And, you know, the gravel element was missing. It's such a fast-growing discipline, but it's also a discipline for everybody. You know, it's a rare event where you have pros and amateurs all racing on the same course. So for me, it was an easy thing to say, yeah, I'd love to do this, but reality of balancing that with racing is challenging. But I'm also fortunate, like Nettie with the Santos Tour Down Under team, we have an incredible team behind us with the gravel team, like helping do all the heavy lifting, and then, you know, we front up and kind of help push the event and get as many people involved as possible.
So you've got a gravel event in the coldest part of the world and in one of the hottest part of the world. So you're at either end of the spectrum. Back to this race, in your time riding the event, Tiff, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen?
Oh, there's been so much. You know, I think in the early years, it was probably a lesser known event. It was probably more local South Australian event. For me, it was, whether you like him or not, the year Lance Armstrong came to the Tour Down Under, that I think put us on the map. It was like people came to see him and people discovered what the race was. And then, you know, we had every brand doing their own kind of thing for the spectators. We've seen bigger names come. We've had Peter Sagan come as a world champion. We've had, you know, Mark Cavendish is here now. On the women's side, you know, every year, firstly, we've had a women's race turn up, which for a long time that was missing. And that's been one of the biggest changes for me personally that I've been happy to see. But it's just, every year gets bigger. I think we just try to make it as interactive as possible. And the stages are getting more competitive, you know. We also have Eric Zabel as a mentor kind of with our team, working with Canyon. And he talks about the one and only time he came here. He's like, yeah, we came just for a training camp. Now it's like, you come here to race. It's World Tour points. Everyone comes here fit. They come ready to race to try and win the race and not just come here for a training camp.
Yeah, there's no training camp anymore. And we're seeing that particularly in the women's race. Nettie, you must be proud of the peloton that you've got here this year. I believe it's the strongest that this race has ever seen in the women's race.
Yeah, we're very excited to have 10 Women's World Tour teams here, which is the highest number we've ever had. So we've been slowly growing over the years with a bit of stable progression, we call it. So it's funny because as an athlete, I was like, I want to change the world. I want everything to be equal straight away. But on the other side of the fence, it takes time. We've got to put the effort in. We need to get the sponsors on board. And so we've been working really hard behind the scenes and are really proud of what we've managed to achieve for our women's race. And like I said, 10 Women's World Tour teams. The level is the highest it's ever been, which means more Women's World Tour teams see this and they want to come out because Sarah Tizet, I spoke to them at the Tour de France this year and they said that they are hungry to come out this year. This is the first time they're here because they said that they were chasing Women's World Tour points from the start because they didn't race and they missed out on all of the opportunities because we've got 3 days here now, but we're also racing again on the 26th. So the females are out before the men on the same circuit, which is super exciting, and that means there's another day and another opportunity to win Women's World Tour points. So, yeah, Sarah Tizet, it's amazing. They've come, they wanted the points, and now they've got it after today's amazing winner.
Okay, I want rapid fire, quick, honest answers. Did either of you pick Daniek Hengeveld this morning to win the stage?
Nope.
Nope.
Did she get a mention in your team briefing before the stage got underway?
Nope.
Nope.
Can she hold on to the jersey tomorrow?
Hopefully not, because we won't take the jersey.
With who?
Not going to let that out yet.
You've spent a lot of time on the front today with Chloe Dygert. Were you frustrated with other teams in the peloton not contributing to the chase?
For sure, but it's one of those tricky situations. You want help. Like we put our trust in Maika van der Duyn, I can't say her name properly, as our sprinter. We were confident she could deliver a good result, but we also knew there was a lot of top sprinters. So day one, no one has responsibility, let's say. So it's you either sit back and say, oh, another team can take it, and we could have been that team as well. But we said, nope, we're here. We're not here to race for second. If no one's going to do it, we're just going to do it, show what we're here for. And yeah, it didn't work out in the end. And obviously it was a huge ride by Danica. But, you know, you got to put yourself in the race. But for sure, it would be nice if some other team stepped up as well.
All right, it's a huge day tomorrow, 2 laps up Wollonga Hill. Who out here is going to go to Wollonga Hill tomorrow? Going to make it up the hill?
Woo!
You got to get out there. Good to see plenty going out. Twice up Wollonga, that's massive. Who wins the stage, Nettie?
Ooh, this is exciting. It's really tricky because I know you like Amanda Spratt, but she's also got an incredible teammate that's been allowed. So she swapped teams. So Niamh Fisher-Black. She has been a workhorse in SD Works for a number of years, and she is now transferring over. And I don't know, maybe she's been targeting this one, and who knows, maybe they'll let her go. But she's my dark horse.
Niamh Fisher-Black. Okay. Who wins the stage tomorrow, Tiff?
A Canyon Trams on the Crypto Rider.
You're not going to tell us which one, are you?
Well, we have options. I don't want to give it away yet.
What about the Battle of the Niamhs?
It's the Battle of the Niamhs. Niamh Bradbury, the Aussie. Niamh Fisher-Black, the Kiwi. Niamh Bradbury is definitely one that I'm going to be watching very closely. You can be as coy as you like behind your cool glasses, Tiff. We know Niamh Bradbury is one of your protected riders. Who thinks it's going to be Niamh Bradbury?
Woo!
Niamh Fisher-Black?
Woo!
Amanda Spratt? I think it's going to be Amanda Spratt. The crowd thinks it's going to be Amanda Spratt.
She looked really good at the national championships, that's for sure.
She looked very good. Tiff, thanks for your time. We know you've got a big night ahead still. We've got the team's presentation coming up shortly. A big few days as well. Everyone, put your hands together for Tiff Cromwell.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks for the chat.
And for the race director, you've been a stage winner here, haven't you, in the race?
Yes. Back in Gamaraka in 2016, and then I had a 2018 in the city.
Fantastic. Put your hands together for stage winner, race director, Annette Edmondson.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you all out there.